shut up. He took the Yeah. Oh man. Okay. That's what I said.
Joel.
Boom, we're live. YouTube, we're live. We're live, guys, on
Joel,
YouTube.
Pass me the phone stand.
Give me the phone stand.
Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Welcome to the live today. We're doing all things pre-foreclosures Q&A. We have multiple deals in escrow that we're going to studies. We're going to answer some questions.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the deals that some crazy stories on some of these deals, but a few of them is closing this coming Wednesday. So that's fantastic news. And then we're going to answer a lot of questions and obviously talk about the real estate market right now. So just give me a second. Let me make sure we're public on Facebook as well. Here's my co-host, Mr. Stephen Blow and Andrew Powell.
Boom.
Hey, what up?
What up? Hey, I hope everybody having an amazing Friday. And what everybody doing today, man? I hope y'all ain't getting drunk for the weekend.
Some are probably getting ready to go ahead and
what a beautiful week it was in a real estate, man.
Man, what? Crazy, man. This week been crazy, man.
100%.
Here we're gonna go public. Why is Facebook data trash, bro?
Yeah. I mean,
edit the audience. Yeah, bro, metadata is trash. Sorry. Everybody know that. Like Facebook, when you post something, let's see. Okay, boom. Now we're public on Facebook as well.
Yeah,
so we're gonna let people get in here. Just gonna get ready to warm up, guys. We're gonna go over case studies, obviously. So first thing first, Andrew, we're gonna talk about how we talk that seller down to $50,000. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
How we lock it up. Second thing we're going to talk about is that seller that you went and track her down to her door. And she went nuts on you. She like you're too aggressive. But we still ended up getting the contracts. I think she really loved the aggressiveness. And then the ghosting seller, obviously. And we're going to let Steve talk about this position. So let's just let a few people get in here. Instagram, if y'all are not on the YouTube, is probably better. If you have any questions, anybody who has some really, really good questions, we might bring you up and just talk to you here on stage.
That would be good.
Yeah, we're live on.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, the week was fantastic, man. This week was very, very interesting when it comes to all the deals we're dealing with. One thing that I don't know if you guys have seen, the Feds are talking about cutting the interest rates, half a point. Soon here. Now, the thing is, for the people that are actually new and trying to get into real estate, if you're waiting for rates to come down to start, you're losing a lot of opportunities right now. Because, I mean, the last deal that we're going to talk about here, nearby the Atlanta airport here, what's the interest rate on it that we're doing creative on it? Less than 4%?
Yeah, I think like 4.25% from the last time we put it on the contract. I'm gonna have to go back and verify that. Yeah, 4.25.
Basically, it's less than 5%, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, don't wait for rates to come down for you to start your real estate journey. Because if you learn about creative finance, deals are out here every single day. We're doing deals that have 3% rates on it, buying them subject to. So I wouldn't even care about those things. I mean, it's good if it comes down, but really it shouldn't stop you from starting right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How was your day today, Andrew? Anything interesting on the door knocking field?
Actually, not even. Yeah, we're not even doing it today.
Yeah, I think it went out.
Yeah.
Oh, you were more cold calling today?
Yeah. I think something wrong with my mic. Hold on. Give me a second.
You, Steve, I know we just went to the Muay Thai training.
Right.
While we were driving, heading there, you were selling deals in the car. Then we got out of training. You talked to one pre-foreclosure seller and then followed up on how many deals you disappointed this week? Like 3 or 4?
Yeah, we disappointed 3. We got 3 in escrow right now that we're working on. You know what's funny? Believe it or not, I just went back and checked. We actually got 10 deals like right now under contract in like moved with the title company we were with. So yeah, like 10 days of escrow right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I think there's what 3 closing this coming week, or how many?
Yeah, it's 3 closing this coming week. Right now,
Yeah.
we lined the buyers up on everything. We actually had the buyer come back and tell me to close sooner. I think I posted about that earlier today, man. So
Right.
hey.
I think one of them is a short sale, right?
Yeah,
That
one of them
wholesaler.
is short sale.
Guys, if you weren't here last not last Friday, but the Friday before that,
Yeah.
so we went ahead and broke down how can you wholesale short sales, okay? How can you wholesale and short sell property as a real estate investor? And it's interesting. There were some people in the comments saying, "Hey, I've heard in whatever that wholesaling short sales are illegal." That is absolutely not true, guys. It's not illegal to wholesale short sales. There's the right way and the wrong way to do it. And I've talked with multiple attorneys about this. It depends how you structure it. What is illegal though is to get the seller, the homeowner paid, okay? Is to get the homeowner paid illegally basically on the transaction. There's a legal way to pay the homeowner, and there's an illegal way. So you just gotta know what you're doing, but you can absolutely wholesale short sales all day long. And we did a whole episode 2 Fridays ago, so make sure you go check it out. Remember, guys, we will be live every single Friday. We're gonna do case studies, underwriting. If you have any questions about pre-foreclosures, creative finance, cash deals, wholesaling, flipping, rentals, doesn't matter. You can come here, bring your questions, we'll answer them. But we specialize in pre-foreclosures. Nobody does it better than us in 7 different states. Georgia, we absolutely dominating it. There's no question. And yeah, so we're gonna get into it. Andrew, you good with the mic?
Yeah, everything good, Andrew?
Andrew doing DJ. I don't think he can hear us right now.
Hey, DJ.
Okay, it's fine. So we're gonna start. Steve, do you have any interesting dispo deal we can talk about right now?
Yeah, we got this one property in Canton, Georgia right now, man. And the funny part that you actually mentioned that earlier, I actually got to arguing with the cash buyer earlier today. Like me and this guy, literally, he was driving on the way. He actually was supposed to be at the property at 12 o'clock, right? And I set the time aside because the owner's still standing in his house right now. That's the issue that we're kind of dealing with. As we actually have an owner-occupied property we're trying to dispose. So this particular cash buyer was trying to get his contractors and GCs in the property, and this guy was supposed to be at the property at 12 and ended up being an hour and 30 minutes late. And so I had to go call the owner to explain that to him. So me and this guy got in an argument because he was about 20 minutes away from the property, and I told him, like, bro, you got to turn around. And man, what I say, like full-blown argument.
The first thing, Steve, I think you missed. You give them the better story first, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing first, when we started looking for a cash buyer for this deal, guys, we've had multiple people interested in the deal. And this is where you guys need to vet your cash buyers properly. Because at first, we have multiple cash buyers that we know on our VIP list. They said, listen, this is too much work for us. The numbers doesn't pencil out. So we started expanding and sending it to other cash buyers and hedge funds. And one of those quote unquote hedge funds, pretending to be a hedge fund, actually ended up being a wholesaler that was trying to daisy chain this deal and wholesale it, not knowing that we know everybody in this area, right? Everyone we send deals to, especially our deals, they know us. They follow us on social media. We're super active. So they're like, hold on, this seems like this is Mamadou, Steve, and Andrew deal. What's going on here, right?
Right.
And explain the story, how he set up the appointment. Number one, the first mistake I want people to avoid. The first mistake is on the aside, like the first thing they told you that you should have known is a red flag. What is that?
Yeah, so these guys, typically when you're dealing with a cash buyer, we go no inspection period, like zero due diligence period. With these guys, they wanted a 2-day inspection, which is typical for most hedge fund companies. But these guys, yeah, they wanted to go a 2-day inspection period, and they wanted to put like $1,000, $2,000 down, which they and it's funny, it's a crazy story. So yeah, these guys ended up locking us under contract for a 2-day due diligence period. And the funny part, I'm gonna just kind of tell them how we actually ended up catching the guys, because again, we wholesale as well, so we know exactly, we understand the game. So on the day that we actually had the inspection, they had a 2-day inspection period on this past Saturday, and we actually ended up going out to the property. So
Yeah.
I was a little bit late. I was maybe delayed by like an hour or two. I ended up talking to 4 of the contractors, quote unquote, that was supposed to be at the property. After having a conversation with them, it turns out that multiple people that were walking through the property were actually cash buyers. And I'm missing another part to the story too. They actually told us 2 contractors were going out to the property. Just 2.
Yeah, they said we're gonna send 2 contractors, and they ended up sending how many people?
Yeah, they ended up sending 9 people out to the property, and it actually freaked the freaked the owner out like completely. They was like, "Oh man!"
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for the newbies out there, just so you guys know, sometimes it's normal for a buyer to say, "Hey, I want to lay eyes on the property first, so I know what I'm buying." But I might be interested, like based on the area you're telling me, based on the numbers you're giving me right now. But just to confirm, I want to go in, walk it, and make sure that the renovation you're telling me, it's not going to be more, right?
Right.
That's fine. Now, if you're assigning the property, remember, if this is a legit buyer, first thing first, instead of putting you under contract first, they should go walk it first. If it's not a hedge fund, hedge funds work differently, right? If it's a regular buyer, fix and flipper, they should go walk it first. Once they walk it, now they're willing to commit to that number, right? Which we push it at how much the deal to sell it?
Yeah, we started at 580 and then we came in like 565. So we have like
565, right? Yeah. So if you say I'm gonna buy it for 565 and you go walk it, and then you call me and go, you know what? I just walked it. I think it's not gonna work. Then fine, I'm not wasting your time. And then you just tell me what's gonna work. And if you say it's gonna work, then at that point, it makes sense for you to say, okay, Mamadou, let's sign an assignment agreement. I'm ready to go because the numbers work for me. I just walk it, and it needs 90 grand of renovations, like you told me. Here, they did the contrary. They acted, number one, they lied. They said they were a hedge fund. They weren't a hedge fund at all. Number 2, they said we're gonna bring GCs in. Number 3, they play the game because they're a hedge fund, knowing full well that hedge funds are regulated and they do certain things a certain way. That's the reason why we agreed to sign basically an assignment agreement before they go walk the property, because that's how hedge funds operate. They will not just come to the property and walk it without having an agreement. That's how hedge funds operate, if they're legit, right? And typically, most hedge funds that we work with, they always end up performing anyway. So we took their word for it. We were introduced to this quote unquote hedge fund, right?
Yeah, we was introduced to them, by a relative friend of mine. And
so from there, they're scheduled, and then they send all these people. When Steve drove there, he ended up finding out that these are actual cash buyers. They said they're gonna bring 2 people. They brought up a whole gang, 7, 8,
the whole team.
So that freaked out the seller, which is very dangerous, right? Because we could lose the deal by them doing this, number one. Right? You can freak out the seller. A buyer can come there and ask and act dumb and talk to the seller and tell them whatever is going on. Not only that, guys, like, we don't mind working with other wholesalers. We do JVs all the time. But it's a matter of being transparent and being honest and being upfront about it. And if he would have told you, Steve, hey, I am a wholesaler, just so you know, but I do have buyers. I'm just gonna get my buyers in. Maybe I can get you guys a higher number than what you're asking. Maybe I'm gonna add my assignment on top of you guys' assignment, or maybe we'll do a split. Would that have bothered you?
No, not at all. The funny part, I was actually about to touch on that topic. Like, listen, if you guys out here trying to work a deal with somebody as far as JVing the deals, just be transparent as possible. If you're trying to get buyers in the property, do that. Like, that's not an issue. Had he told us that, we would have just told him, hey, listen, send your guys out Saturday, Sunday, and then, we can work something out. But because they lied, they actually ended up tarnishing the relationship they could have had. So, I mean, hey, you guys do not go out here faking that buyer.
Business, right?
Right. Exactly. Lost out on future business being a dummy.
100%. Yeah, hear me now, Mamadou?
Yeah, much better.
Man, sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll have to change the mic and change.
Oh, that's a great question.
No worries, man. Is alive. He's alive, guys. You can be raw. You could smoke your cigar. You can chill, bro. He's alive.
Boom. Okay, then that cool then. Jay asking a great question. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
So Andrew, earlier, Steve was talking about Canton here and breaking down what happened with the deal. Anyway, Steve, so they walked it. Obviously, we called them out in the car. I remember you telling the guy you were going, but I wish we would have recorded that call. It was a heated call.
Yeah.
So he called them out on their BS, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the buyers that actually came to walk the property, what ended up happening?
Yeah, so this is actually the funny part. Like, I ended up talking to one of the buyers that actually walked the property, and these guys on top, not only did they not tell us that they didn't have buyers coming to the property, they called us back to price drop us. So I sent the property out to them at 545.
Right.
I'm not going to get into too much of the numbers, but basically, they wanted to make a 20K. Oh, okay, I can do it. All right, cool. So, they basically came back to us at 515. We already knew that the buyer wanted to be at 530. I had a conversation with the guy, cool guy, real cool guy, and so we ended up having a conversation. They tried to price drop us on the phone. I'm like, hey, bro, like I already talked to your buyers. I know exactly what they're willing to pay for the property. And when I even asked him to tell us what the buyers pay for the property, he didn't want to tell us. I literally had to. Oh man, this guy here, man. It made me irritated.
They were still pretending. That's the funny part. They were still pretending up to the end that they're still a hedge fund, not knowing that obviously you were there. They should have been way smarter because you're walking with their buyer. Obviously, you're going to talk to the buyer.
Exactly.
And so one of them tell you exactly what he's going to buy it for. So they basically try to come back and say, hey, you guys take a 15K haircut. So anyway, guys, we got rid of them. Now we're working with that buyer directly because, I mean, you lied, so you deserve what's coming to you. So we're working with the buyer directly. Directly, he's buying it from us. That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That buyer ended up working with us directly. That buyer actually called them and got taken off their list. He said he didn't want to receive no more deals from them because they daisy chain, and he didn't even know they daisy chain.
They're unethical. They should have just been upfront and honest. What do you think, Andrew? How many times did that happen to us, Andrew?
Man,
by the time you come, so Jade Cross says, when you vet buyers, how do you tell the difference between the infrastructure of how hedge funds operate or individual cash buyers? Jade, can you answer that question for me?
Yeah, I got you. So, Jade, whenever you're actually dealing with a hedge fund versus an individual buyer, most of the time a hedge fund actually follow a system. So, whenever they're trying to buy a deal from you, number one, you must have it under contract. You must be direct to seller. A hedge fund won't deal with anybody that's not direct to seller. That's number one. Right. Number two, whenever you're working with a hedge fund, they typically require anywhere between a 5 to 10 day due diligence period because most of the time when you're dealing with a hedge fund, they're working on 4, 5, 6 other deals. These are big corporations. So they need time to be able to get to your deal. It's not necessarily that they want to lock you up for 5 days. It's just because they're working so many deals, it's just getting their contractors out to the property. It can become a problem. So typically hedge funds are going to require a due diligence period. They're going to want to know you're direct to seller. Most of the time, they're going to require you work with their realtor to purchase the property. So that's typically how a hedge fund works. When you're dealing with an individual buyer, this is just like a everyday cash buyer, somebody that buys homes and flips, like your mom and pop. A lot of times, these individual buyers, for us, we request 5K non-refundable EMD, and a lot of times with these individual
explain what EMD means.
Yeah, EMD. So that's just an earnest money deposit. So typically, when you're working with investors, you want them to have some skin in the game. Think of like a rental deposit whenever you're going to buy a rental unit or lease out a rental unit. Typically, the company is going to require you to put some type of deposit down so that you can afford this property. So that's typically how it works with individual buyers. For me personally, just doing dispo as long as I can most definitely tell you, build a relationship with your individual cash buyer because they typically tend to know the area a lot better than hedge funds. A lot of times they come through. Hedge funds are big corporations, so you're just a number to them. So understand that if you do deal with these people, they can pull out of your deals. They pay a higher amount, but they can pull out of your deals. So you want to be aware of that. Yeah. So I'll answer the question. Boom. Yeah.
That's a good question.
Mr. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew. Your connection today is straight from Jamaica, bro.
Yeah, we can tell him. I don't know what really Micah chip in.
So talk to us this week, Andrew. So I know two things.
Yeah.
There's one deal where you took the seller down $50,000. At first, we had it locked up at $200,000 sight unseen. Mm-hmm. Explain to them, number one, the thought process behind locking it up sight unseen first. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, what led to the price drop and how a newbie should handle, a situation like this. And then, take it from there, how we dispose it as well, like how much we're going to make on.
Well, in the first initial stage when we negotiate the deal, him came to move the price at 250K. Right, so right away, me know him a fish. So because me know him a fish, me kind of tell him like, hey, I already look on the property. Me already scored the property. 250 won't work because that too close to ARV. Him said 200. So I said, hey, let us go underneath contract for the 200K until we get inside of the property for kind of say what needs to be done and stuff. Because by this now, I only look on the outside of the property. Sometimes I kind of go around the property and walk it to see what it needs to be done on the outside. As you know, Mamadou may kind of have a physical.
Would you tell a newbie to not be afraid to lock up a seller side on seeing if you know they will have the opportunity to walk it instead of saying no, let me walk it first, like, and risk losing the deal by another investor calling after them?
Yeah, no, you always want to get the deal underneath contract, right? Get it underneath contract closely to a number that you have in mind.
Right.
So at 150, we wasn't too off with the 200, right? So I decided to lock him up, and then we can renegotiate. If we can give you a little bit more, I'll give you. If we need to come down a little bit more, we're gonna come down. But let us lock it up right now to show that we're really and truly serious. Let me open title. Let me get the title office going until I get down here, and then we can get this on the inside. So that's how we approach it. Now, newbies, whenever you go for negotiate, always focus on the money that goes to the seller. Because we as investor will cover the fees, right, Mamadou? The fees is what we'll cover, and we'll try to make it pay the net amount to the seller, and that's where I start my negotiation. I always emphasize and pay close attention to that amount, and that is how we negotiate whenever we are negotiating.
Right.
And guys, it's all about setting expectations, right? So when you're talking to a seller, like this was at first this was a Dornock, Andrew, then a Coco, right? Or was it straight Coco?
No, you know, this is actually, you know, Mamadou, this is not even a pre-foreclosure lead. You know, this was this came from the tired landlord list.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Okay, guys. This is one we're doing, and this seller is from the tired landlord lists. Right. Okay, this is not a pre-foreclosure apparently. I don't know why I'm thinking pre-foreclosure. That is because we do so many pre-foreclosures that it's crazy. Now, typically, it's a mix. Even if it's pre-foreclosure, they're also on the probate list. They're also on the tired landlord list, like the one nearby the airport here, right? But anyway, it's about expectations, guys. So when you're talking to a homeowner, you have to remember, time kills all deals in real estate. You want to operate with speed. So this homeowner ended up being an absentee owner. What is an absentee owner? Meaning he doesn't live in the property. Not only that, he's also an out-of-state owner. Yep. He lives in a completely different state. He lives in North Carolina. So we go, okay, you know what? This guy have owned the property for a long time. Andrew, he inherited from his mom, right?
Yeah.
His inherited from his mom. He's been dealing with holdover tenants for a while. He just evicted them. And we know for sure that the property need work. He just don't know what kind of work. He couldn't tell us. Right. So with that being said, you go online and you look at kind of like the area, the square footage, and the potential Zillow's estimate. And you kind of like determine based on what your cash buyers buy, what potentially they could buy this property for in this area based on the condition that the seller told you that the property is in the last time they saw it or what they think. Now, here's the deal. When you're setting up the expectations with them, you got to tell them, hey, listen, I'm making you the 200 offer right now. Just so you know, I'm making you a $200,000 offer based on what you told me. If me and you, we meet this next coming Saturday, whatever, and I walk the property and it's exactly how you told me, no problem. I'm moving forward with the $200,000. It is a net offer. We cover all the closing costs. We can close between 2 to 35 days, right? That's the script right there.
Absolutely.
And in case it, you know, we end up, because it does happen before. I'm not saying it's going to happen with your property, but it did happen before with the sellers. We walk in. Obviously, there were tenants in. Guys, I'm giving you a script. Just use it, right? And there were tenants. Well, we walk in and, you know, the carpet is missing, the tenant trash, the whole house, they broke the windows. There's a bunch of holes in the walls. And you guess what? That's exactly what happened with this one.
Exactly.
No, listen, the seller always gonna tell you all it need a carpet and paint. Like that number 2 go to. All it need a carpet and paint. The next thing when you visit the property, you see the roof a cave in and you're like, what is going on? Exactly. That's why it's good to lock them up underneath contract at the number, because you know you're going to eventually come down at the end of the day.
And the great thing about this, guys, is when you walk the property and you find out is in a way shitty condition that they told you is great for you, because now you have a ground to stand on to come back and renegotiate and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Because this time we went and we walked with him face to face. Even him, he was shocked when he saw the property. He was like, holy moly, what have they done here? Right? So it was so easy to get him down, because he was like, okay, you guys are right. Like, we need to make something. Yeah, you got to make something, but obviously we're not looking to live in the house. So we need a little bit of profit. So it was easy to call him and have that conversation. So guys, don't be afraid. Don't drive to every property to see it, because you need to keep making more calls, jump onto the next motivated seller. So like, if you're going to go ahead and walk every property before you put it on the contract, you're probably going to do half a deal a month.
Right. I agree. Hey, something I want to say before we jump to the next thing is, as well, this guy was in the pipeline for 6 months too. Like, at first he started at 350. Yeah, he started at 350.
Follow-ups, guys. The first month we've talked to him, he said he wanted $350,000.
Bro, 350,000. Yes.
We didn't give up. We didn't say it's trash. We didn't say it's dead deal. He got a text message every 2 weeks, and he got a call every week.
Yeah.
Right.
Just keep it in touch. Are you ready to sell? Are you ready to sell? When you come down to Georgia, how is things going? How is it going with the eviction? You see, I think the analysis paralysis with newbies in terms of the follow-up is they don't know, like, okay, Mamadou, I've talked to 3, I get this question all the time. I've talked to the seller 7 times. They're still not willing to sign. They're still not ready to sell, even though they have some sort of motivation. Yes, they want to sell, but they're not ready right now. Okay. Why should I follow up with this person, and what should I say? That's where newbies get stuck. Like, they don't understand, okay, when I follow up, what am I talking about? We already talked about the property. You gave me the condition. What are you talking about when you follow up?
Whenever you follow up, you just, where is it that you leave the first call off? Like, that is the first question. Like, where you left off. Because for me, Mamadou, whenever I'm leaving a phone call, I give the seller instruction as to what the process is next moving on. So the follow-up call is for cover all of those things. Hey, did they do this? Hey, did they do that? Hey, did we get this? I will get that. Because the previous call always end with some instruction as to what the next step look like. So guys, whenever set the call up for the next call, always do that with some things to do from the seller.
Yeah. Here's analysis when it comes to follow-up, guys. It's like you going to the dentist, okay? I know everybody hates dentists, but you go to the dentist and then maybe they drill something on your tooth, and now they want you to come back every month for a checkup, right? They're not going to drill it anymore, but you need some checkup. That's what a follow-up is in real estate. You're following up with this seller, not only on where you left off, but whatever they told you. Let's say hypothetically, this seller is like, no, I just inherited the property right now. I live in North Carolina. I have too many things going on. Yes, I'm going to sell, blah, 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 but I'm not ready right now. Fantastic. Every time you follow up with him, you're really just checking up on this guy. Hey, how are things going? How is it going with the tenants?
Yeah.
Have you got it figured out? Are you getting a lot of calls from other investors? Any offers came yet? If they told you anything personal on your calls, bring it up. Let's say he was like, oh, I'm going to travel. Somebody passed away in my family. I'm going to go to whatever. Or my daughter had an appointment. Bring it up. Hey, how was your daughter's appointment that you told me last time? How is it going? Just so you know, I'm just calling you so you don't forget my name, because I know you're getting 200 calls per day. So I'm just checking in. If you're not ready yet, no problem at all. Just so you know, I'm going to bother you every single 2 weeks. I'm going to give you a call to make sure you don't forget my name. So you're not ready yet, right? Okay, great. How is the appointment with your daughter? Did it go well? Fantastic. Hey, you have a fantastic day. I'll touch base with you in 2 weeks. It's a checkup. When they're ready, guess what, guys? Do you think the sellers, when they're ready, they're gonna go back to like all their old calls? Somebody that called them like 3 months ago?
Oh no, never.
Sellers will always reach out to the last person that reached out to them. The person that reached out to them the most is the only person that they remember in their mind. That's the only person they remember. So if they like you, and you're the one who bothered them the most, and we're gonna get into that one. Andrew just went to door like a lady. She's like, you're too aggressive. You're too aggressive, but we ended up getting the contract. So that's when she loved it, right?
And
But follow-up is, don't overthink a follow-up. Is a checkup. Don't overthink it. It's literally a checkup. So you can do it through calling them, and then you can do it through automated text that we call drip campaigns. What do we use for that for us?
Yeah, we use REI Reply right now. We can actually text you guys a link to that to get a discount on that, but we use REI Reply right now currently.
So we're using REI Reply right now, okay? So with that being said, guys, let's answer this question below. Andrew, Jade says, do you guys also wholesale multifamily or commercial, or do you stick to your niche single family real estate?
Well, of course, multifamily always the main objective, though. So right now we're thinking of the building capital stage, and then multifamily for me would definitely be the next chapter of the real estate, because we're gonna attack that real soon. Sometimes Steve kind of double inside that, but for me personally, we try to niche down, forget the capital the right way, and then from there to multifamily.
100%.
He's asking about wholesaling.
Oh, wholesale. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So guys, listen, we're deal finders, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are deal finders. Like even today, somebody called me, a lady called me. We've been talking with her for a long time. We're about to buy one of her properties. She ended up finding a solution for it. But she called me today with an opportunity. It's a commercial building, right? There is a mixed use UPS, mailboxes that people rent, and a bunch of other stuff that the cash flow is great. Location is fantastic. It's in Gwinnett County. And it's a commercial building. Guys, it's a deal. If it's a deal, it's a deal. I'm looking for deals.
Yeah.
Now, I don't chase shiny object syndrome neither. I don't start doing like, you got to have a niche. You got to have a niche. And then when you have a team, you can expand from there because you can divide and conquer. Remember, guys, we have a team. If you're just getting started, you're a solopreneur, right? If you try to do everything, you're not going to be successful with this. So if you're just getting started, here's what I'm going to say, Jade. Do not go after multifamily and commercial and single family.
Niche down.
Pick one.
No, right.
Start with single family if you can. To me, it's the easiest to wholesale, to be honest.
Right.
And then pick your niche. For us, it's pre-foreclosures. That's our bread and butter.
Right.
We absolutely 100% love pre-foreclosures. We've mastered it. We know the drill. We know the pitch. We know how to chase the sellers. We've built a network around it. All the property that we own is pre-foreclosures. We eat and breathe it. We love helping these homeowners. So that's what we do. That's what we specialize in. But we do everything else, right? We do cash deals, all the. We do like tired landlords as well.
Yep.
We do absentee owners. We do vacants. Why? Because through the pre-foreclosures, we've learned how to talk to any seller. We've learned how to come the deals. We've learned how to come up with offers, right? Cash or creative. But when I started my journey, I picked one strategy. I did not go with 2 or 3. One single strategy. Pre-foreclosures, that's it. That's it. I stuck with it.
I mean, Mamadou, at the end of the day, too, we're investors, right? So even with me doing pre-foreclosure, I even have 2 driving for dollar leads right now, hot lead. So, I mean, as an investor, everywhere you turn your eye, you look through the investor lens. So you always look for opportunity.
100%. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I was going to piggyback on that. I mean, for me, for you guys just not getting started too, like Mamadou said, I was focused down on a niche, preferably in the single family field. Because even for me dealing with commercial right now, I can tell you now, most of those brokers that you're going to have to deal, because you're going to have to go through a broker if you're dealing with commercial and multifamily. I can tell you right now, most of those people, unless you have some type of skin in the game, they're not going to have a conversation with you anyway. So you're going to have to develop relationships that you get through wholesaling, single family properties. Maybe you might be a buyer that's in that space, and then you guys can work together. But that's kind of my only 2 cents on that one.
So basically, guys, the bottom line is, you see, it depends which stage you are in. Are you just starting out? You haven't done a deal yet? If so, stick to one niche. Pick one. Okay, stick to it, master it, then build your team from there, then expand. If you already have a team, and maybe you're doing one thing that's already working and you want to add something in your pipeline, then fine. Go with whatever is easy for you to obviously underwrite, understand, be consistent with. That's really the bottom line.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Jade. Okay, Jade came with
she came with the book.
So I'm focused on single family real estate, found buyers first and been using PPL for leads. Oh, nice. Okay. I got 1 lead that closed in Georgia and 1 closing soon in Florida. I'm JV with my acquisition manager, sir. Oh, let's go, Jake. Okay. I wish I had a boom button.
We need a boom bell.
Yeah. Right, a boom bell, Yeah. With that being said, let's move on to the next case study. The next one, Andrew, is the divorced couple. This property is in Litonia, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are gonna learn about persistence on this one. Yeah. It's so one thing that Andrew does, and our team, this is kind of like the our motto, right? I'm gonna say, right? And this is a concept that maybe is going to be a little bit, esoteric for a lot of people. Okay, it's only a few that's gonna understand it. And here's what I mean by that: is a concept of visualizing the deal that you're about to do already before you even do it. So Andrew have a process of first going in when he's even pulling the lists and looking at it. He's going in and going deeper into the data and actually looking the properties that he knows these are deals. Meaning the seller have owned it for a long time. They have equity. They're most likely a little bit old, whatever. They live somewhere else, right? And then he's gonna visualize this property, him already talking to the seller, closing the seller, us getting the check. Literally go through that. I'm talking about the mental process. I know this thing is gonna go over a lot of people's heads.
It is.
Okay?
I mean,
only a few is gonna understand this. Remember, guys, this is not about real estate. Anything you do in life, it starts with your mind first. Yeah. So if it's not really in your mind, it's not going to manifest itself in reality. So if you're going through this journey believing, it doesn't work, or I've contacted that guru and that guru never responded to me, so that like all this negative energy you have in your mind, you're kind of like translating into reality, and that's the reason why you're dealing with what you're dealing with, right? Yep. So that's what exactly Andrew did here with 2 deals actually, all of them, but these 2 are very, very, like, he literally visualized it on paper. So Andrew, talk to us about this one.
I mean, it's just a concept whereby as within, so without. So we try to do everything from within first. And it was just a concept whereby if we know I'm gonna have a conversation with a homeowner, right? For instance, Mamadou. Now, for me, I put the deal together because every deal tell a story. Whenever I look for pre-foreclosure home, the bigger the spread, the bigger the problem is. So that is how I approach it. The bigger the amount of money can be made, the problem is very huge. I'm gonna go off of very huge problems. So of course, my spread them gonna always be 100,000 or more. That are the frequency we want for be on. So worst case scenario, I'm gonna make 20K, whatever, right? But that is the target for me. Now, whenever I go inside these deals, is a whole entire story I want. That is how I analyze my deal because I niche down each deal specifically. So if I knock 20 doors, I have 5 doors when I contact these sellers by the hook or by the crook.
Right.
I go through Instagram, I go email them, I go door knock them, I go door knock them family, I go what else I go do? I go cold call them, I go cold text them.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes they move. So if I say a property whereby the owner don't occupy that property no more and it's in foreclosure, then I go find the next address and I go door knock the other address. This is all.
Absolutely.
This is all. We know the lady from. She said, Andrew, I have 2 family members that mention the name. My husband I call me about you. Now you turn up in my house after me leave it. What? Yeah. Bro, why are you so aggressive? I mean,
Andrew would have been a badass bounty hunter.
Bro, what?
If Andrew was a bounty hunter, guys, you are not freaking escaping Andrew, right? You just listen. So you cold call, door knock, find your second address, go there, text, find you on Instagram, find you on freaking Facebook, find you in jail. Like it's beyond. 100%. This is how you know if you really want it or you don't, right? It's not about that first step. Oh, put in the data, fine. Okay, you cold called once, twice, fine. No, the extra step, right? Is oh my God. Go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, okay, Mamadou, so my deals them start from the night before. Like my day actually start from the night before. So whenever I go inside of tomorrow, I already know the houses them I'm gonna target because I know, as I said before, the bigger the spread, the bigger the problem. So these people, say for instance, is a 76-year-old lady. Yeah, you want to help these people as much as possible. Right now, we have a deal in an Alpha Red that the guy, and then these people get so close. After you and them have couple coming, it's like you and them actually become friends after you helping them so much. So it's just a beautiful thing, pre-foreclosure. And the mental concept, Mamadou, I know you got also implement that inside of the team. Because I talk to Steve about that heavily, but as something where everybody need for practice. Everybody 100%. Need for practice the whole mental aspect from within, so without. You can't create anything from the outside unless you visualize it and mental put it together. Beautiful concept.
100%.
So tell them the story. So this is a divorced couple.
Or divorced couple.
And you were talking to the husband, I think, the ex-husband,
Have
right?
the husband on board. Have the husband on board, and having the husband on board for about a month, Mamadou. Now, this guy, when I first approached him, he wanted 270 for the deal. Now, I tell him I cannot do 270. He actually give me access to the property. Went in, took some pictures, say all of what needed from the property, by the way. So we decided to offer 230. So him sat on that 230 for at least 3 weeks. Me see him come back to me in the final week before the auction and tell me now I'm ready for do the 230. I said, okay, no problem. Problem is me need to get him wife on board because she wanted 250 for the property. Now, what the guy expressed to me is that the people who are offer 250, them live in a different state. So him already know the 250 not really legitimate. My 230 way more appealing than the 250 because I actually take time and walk the property and follow up with him like religiously. Every single 2 days, I follow up with him. Hey, what's going on? How the offer them look? You ready for accept the 230? Until finally, him just called me out of the blue and said, Andrew, let's go. Let's do the 230. Problem. I need to get my wife on board because she wanted 250. From him telling me not to tell me that 2 times. Me go find her. Don't worry yourself. Look. I try to contact her because I have her number because I talk to her 2 times, but she just won't pick the phone up by this time because I guess she'll get overwhelmed with all the calls, right?
Yeah.
So
is divorce a typical thing when somebody is working pre-foreclosures, Andrew?
Of course, it's very common. Those the home always become vacant, or the lady always get the home and then she cannot manage it by herself financially. We work one right now also in a Covington where the guy died and leave him wife. She also now start to go through pre-foreclosure. So when it come on to married couple, whether divorce or somebody die, it always lead to pre-foreclosure because one person just cannot take on all the finances.
Right. So Andrew find her he actually has the whole call recorded. Guys, go on his YouTube channel and he's probably going to post that call. The YouTube channel is pre-foreclosure pre-foreclosure as in seller closer duo. Okay, check him out. Actually, Andrew, you can put it in the chat, so I'm gonna pinpoint it. Check. He's gonna post that call. It's very funny. The lady said, so she was talking to him through the camera door.
Yeah.
So she wasn't even at home.
Okay, so I'm going to go Logansville. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to go Logansville. So I ring her doorbell. Ring it about 3 times because I know she see me ring it the first 2 times, but she see how persistent me is. I wouldn't move until somebody answer the doorbell. I say hello. I say hey. I call her name. I introduce myself. She say, Andrew, why you so aggressive? She said, oh, you're so aggressive. I'm just tell her like, hey, may I try assist them? May I try avoid you getting a foreclosure on your credit? You know what I mean? Give me a chance to purchase the home and we could do some business together. Your husband already on board. Just come on board. And she like, okay, I'm going to give you a call. Last night, me and her actually have like a 15-minute conversation over the phone.
Yeah. You know? Guys, so this is you know what's funny? Even though she's like, you're very aggressive, when she hung up that phone, I guarantee you, she's like, okay, this is the guy I'm going to work with.
Of course. Yeah.
This guy truly cared. I talked to him, ghosted him. He talked to my ex-husband. He persisted and called. And now he literally found my second address. This is not the subject property address we're talking about, guys. We're talking about her primary, where she lives. Not her. Where did you find her address, Andrew? True People Search?
With True People Search her, but the original one will give me the more current address. Remember, I ask you, Steve, I ask you which one was the more current address. I mean, before one hour and find out the Logansville. Because she moved 2 times from the subject property. She moved once in Litonia and the last one was in Logansville.
Look at that, guys. Yeah. He found even that she already moved multiple times and found the latest address, drove to her without telling her, ring the doorbell and persist. And then she talked to him through the camera. She wasn't even home. She was at work. And she's like, Andrew, My whole family have heard from you. Now here you are. How did you find my address? And like, public data, and you guys gonna hear it on the call. She's like, what? So my address is out there? Just like that?
Right.
Right.
Bro, she even asked him, like, bro, I even got the email. Like, bro, you got everything else? Like, you had the email. She can ask me.
But guys, imagine, guys, imagine if you really wanted, so you find the love of your freaking life, okay? And she's ghosting you, she's avoiding you. Maybe not right now she has too much going on, or she have a little boyfriend in the neighborhood, but you know he's a loser. And then you persist this much, and you take a flight, you go all the way to freaking wherever she lives, knock on the door, and be like, no, I'm here. I gotta put that ring on the finger. She gotta respect that, right? I know a big guru that got his wife like that, right? Through follow-ups. I don't want to say his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But guys, that's what it is, right? It shows consistency. It shows that you truly care. These sellers, even though they're going through a foreclosure, even though they're facing auction, they will not work with you unless you truly care. Like, absolutely not. Like, these people want people that truly, truly care about helping them. And Andrew showing up at that door, that's a stamp saying, okay, this one right here, he cares. And she ended up signing the contract. Yesterday, they had a 15-minute call, right? She ended up signing it, even though she was like, so guys, you have to be willing to take the extra step. You have to be willing to take the extra step if you truly care. If you're just thinking about this business like, you put one toe and then you just want your wholesale check, you truly don't care. Sellers try to tell you their story on how what happened here, and you don't care. You're very like, okay, so what about the condition of the property? It's like, bro, I just told you I'm going through a divorce. What? Right? So you're gonna have to play the intermediary. We've done that multiple times on nasty divorces. Sometimes we drive to properties to secure it for sellers because they're not here. We offer to go and look around, make sure there's no intruders, and like so many things without even knowing yet if you're gonna get it. So we go above and beyond, and that's how we get these contracts. All right, guys. So any more questions here? Oh, one thing, guys, let's talk about underwriting, right? I get this question all the time in my Instagram. People say, okay, if you market into these pre-foreclosure sellers, how do you actually underwrite the deals? How do you come up with the offers? So Steve handles all of our disposition, so meaning he sells the deals. By the way, he can help you guys sell your deals as well.
Yes, sir.
And Andrew can help you talk to the sellers. Even Steve too is a freaking closer, but he handles our department, our dispo department. Sorry, guys. Today my English is in the Caribbeans. But with that being said, jvwithboomsquad.com, you guys see the website. So if you guys are stuck with a seller and you need somebody to jump on the three-way with you, help you close the seller, guess what? Go submit it there or just reach out to us directly. But Steve, what do you think? So you talk to a homeowner on pre-foreclosure. How do you come up with the offer? How do you look at it? How do you know if it's a cash deal, creative? How do you come up with that?
Yeah, so first thing I think most people should understand when you're coming into investments, y'all need to understand what you're looking for as an investor. Most of the time when you're coming in, there's two things you can do with a property. You can either rent it out or you can fix and flip it. That's the first two things you want to focus on. Just determining if this property is either going to be a fix and flip or a rental property whenever you're having a conversation with the owner based on some of the details they give you. And then there's only 4 things that you actually need to make an offer on the property whenever you're underwriting it. You're going to need the ARV. That's basically the after repair value. What can I sell this property for after I've put all the work into it? You're going to need a rehab cost. This is just basically what it's going to take to get it to max value. Then you're going to need your asking price. This is basically whatever your seller is actually needing from you to be able to feel comfortable moving forward with you on the transaction. And then you're going to need the closing costs. If you have all those, it's pretty easy to be able to come up with an offer and just kind of determine exactly where you need to be at as far as pricing. Now, just like we just said on this last deal, the asking price, there's certain factors that are going to be off. Sometimes the seller is going to tell you a house needs, just carpet and paint. You're going to go out to the property, you're going to need more than that. So again, you guys just have to be aware of that. But those are pretty much the 4 things you want to look for whenever you're trying to underwrite a deal.
I mean, the next thing again, guys, shoot for 50 cents on the dollar. Work your way up. You know what I mean? For me, that's the thought process. Whenever I go inside any type of negotiation, 50 cents on the dollar, I focus more upon what the homeowner walk away with, and me just covering all the fees. And keep the negotiation very simple, guys. And not really anything where you need for overthink. And Yeah, the negotiation start when somebody say no, by the way. So go as low as I can and then work your way up.
Right. So with that being said, guys, so you have to look at yourself like a real estate doctor because you are, right? You don't like when you go to your doctor for a visit, your doctor don't prescribe you a medication until they find out all the symptoms and then pinpoint exactly where the pain is, and then they prescribe the right pill, right? It's the same thing for you. So at first, when you're talking to these homeowners, you're going through a fact-finding process, right? So fact-finding, you want to know, number one, how did they arrive here? That's number one. Number two, how much are they behind on, right? Because if somebody's in pre-foreclosure, that means they have a debt on the property, right? You cannot be in pre-foreclosure unless you owe somebody money. So how much are they behind on? How many liens? Because is that they don't owe money to just one person. So sometimes they have multiple different mortgages. Sometimes they have solar panel liens. Sometimes they're behind also on the HOA, right? So once you know how much they're behind on, the timeline you have, and then the underlying debt outside of what they're behind on. So let's say hypothetically, a seller owes $150,000 on their property. But on top of that $150,000, they're also behind $25,000. So that means really, in order for a buyer to buy the property, the minimum they can bring to the table is $175,000. Would we agree?
Yes, sir.
So from there, now you ask them about the condition of the property to determine if the property needs work. And if the property needs work, let's say hypothetically the property needs $50,000 worth of work. How would you determine that? Number one, just ask them about the major items, right? Roof, those are the major items that cost a lot of money. So roof, kitchen, AC units, electrical, plumbing, those are foundation issues. Those are the things that cost a lot of money, right? So you guys need to go and research the square footage kind of rule to come up with the repairs, right? So let's say you determine at this point it needs $50,000 worth of work. Okay, boom. 175 now plus $50,000 in renovation. Well, you know that if this seller, the property is only worth 250, this is not a cash deal right out the gate. Right? So that's the first thing. So I go through an elimination process. So first step, once I found out all the facts, how much they're behind all these things, then I look at the value of the property, then I look at how much the property needs in terms of work, if it needs any. Because we get a lot of turnkey properties as well, right? I'm just giving a hypothetical scenario. But let's say with this scenario here, now the property is worth $350,000 or $400,000. Well, you know there's meat on the bone. That means the seller has equity because everything, based on what they owe in the renovation is only $200,000. The house is worth $400,000. That means they have $200,000 in equity. So this is what Andrew was saying now, focus on the cash to seller. How much does the seller need cash in their pockets? And guys, you need to know what your buyers will buy properties at in the area where you market it.
All right.
So you have at least 4 buyers that you can call by their first name and reach out to them and ask them how much. Steve does this all the time. He calls our buyers and say, hey, Joanne, how much would you buy this property for? Give me your number, and then we go and negotiate for that. Okay? So that's it. So first, cash. If you eliminate cash, then we move on to creative. Creative finance, we go, hey, Mr. Seller, listen, cash is not going to work because based on how much you owe, based on your arrears, based on what the property needs, cash is not going to work. Now we pivot into creative finance. This is where we talk to them about subject to taking over the mortgage and then putting some cash in their pockets, obviously. And then that's it. We transfer title. And typically, investors will buy these properties this way creatively to keep it as buying homes. Okay? So there's only 2 things you can do with the properties. Either you flip it or you keep it as a buying home. All right, guys? So that's how you approach it. Fact finding first. Get the numbers. Get all the facts. And then from there, because you are the real estate doctor, now you prescribe the pill after you know all the pain points from your patient. Does that kind of make sense? That's how you approach it.
Yeah, that's exactly how you approach it. And guys, listen. Sometimes I realize people kind of overthink the whole pre-foreclosure process, Mamadou. It is nothing that you need for overthink. You just need to go out and try to solve problems. That's all you need. Just try to solve as much problem as I can. And the bigger the problem, the greater is the reward. So always look for those big problems to solve.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
So Mark says, if you stop the mortgage, what time do you have to pay the arrears? If you stop the mortgage, what time do you have to pay if you stop the you mean if you stop the auction, Mark? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you stop the auction, how much time? Boom. Okay. I mean, if you stop the auction, how much time do you have to pay the arrears?
I mean, so
Yeah.
whenever you stop the auction from happening, it typically give you 30 days, because whenever you stop the auction is either to do a modification or somebody go purchase the property. So it's always just postponed up for the next auction date that's coming up. So if you're gonna stop the auction with a purchase and sales agreement and then turn on and pay the arrears, then you're gonna have 30 days inside of
Right.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Right.
Every state different.
So it basically depends how you stopped.
Yeah.
Did you use a purchase and sale agreement? Did the seller, not you have? Remember, guys, you're not an attorney. Did the seller file bankruptcy on their own? Okay. Was there a loan? Like, how did you stop it? Based on that, but I will say you typically have about 30 to 35 days. Typically, it can go up to 90 days or more, depending on how you stopped it. But Mark, you want to make sure with pre-foreclosure deals, because of the time sensitive, you definitely want to make sure you have let your buyer lined up, right?
Yeah.
Or you have the exit lined up. If you are the buyer, great, but you have the private money lined up, or you have your cash buyers solid. You have like 4 people locally where you market that you're working with that are at least 4 legit cash buyers that you know they consistently buy deals, they close fast, they understand what you're doing, they know you do pre-foreclosure. Like, our buyers know that we do pre-foreclosures.
Right.
So when we call them, they're stressed out more than us. They're like, oh, this is a pre-foreclosure again? Okay, let's go. So I mean, like they want to move fast, right? Because they know, like we tell them, right? So make sure you legit. Now, by the way, guys, as I said again, jvdoomsquad.com. Steve can send all your deals. We can help you stop. Transactmasters.com is who we use to stop all of our auction up to the day of. Up to the day of. I've seen Transact Masters. I've seen them reverse an auction where we lose the property at here in Georgia. The auction is every first Tuesday of the month. And so we lose some of these houses because like the timing, right? So typically if you work in pre-foreclosure, sellers always reach out to you either the day before or the day of, like super last minute, right? And so sometimes you have to reverse it. Sometimes they do some miracles, but transactmasters.com, I'm actually going to put it in the chat so you guys can, if you need those services as well. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, I'm going to say tomorrow, we're going to stop our auction come Tuesday with a bankruptcy stay. So we're actually going to drive because the guys are older guys, so him can't move and him out of town. So we're actually going to drive out to Macon to get him identification and get all of the stuff that we need for file a bankruptcy on his behalf. So we can actually go ahead and close out on that property. But these are the stuff that you have to do, guys. You have to go be on in order to help these people, and that is how you get the big payday.
That's full disclosure. Remember, on our team, we work with in-house legal people, okay, that are licensed. So do not go ahead and do what Andrew just said here. We're not advising you to do that. Full disclaimer, we're not attorneys. We're not telling you to go ahead and tell your sellers to file bankruptcy. Just FYI.
Yeah, don't do that.
We work with in-house people that are licensed attorneys that help sellers handle this stuff, right?
Yeah. We'll just assist with the paperwork.
If the owner files for bankruptcy, why would okay. Mark, that is here's one of the golden rules in real estate, Mark. In real estate, one of the golden rules is never ever put your own thoughts, right, into the seller's thoughts. Right? You are not the seller. The reason you're asking this question is because if it was you, you're probably going to think, okay, I've already filed bankruptcy anyway. Let me just keep my home or rent it out or whatever. But that's because you're an investor, right? Most homeowners, actually, because of this situation right here, they want to see that property go. This is a nightmare for them. They want to move on to the next chapter. It might be a divorce where they don't want to stay in the home, the souvenir. They're not real estate investors. They don't want to deal with tenants. They don't want to deal with toilet leaks. They don't want to flip houses. They don't know how to flip houses. So that's the reason why. Because at the end of the day, even if they file bankruptcy, let's say they didn't file bankruptcy, their credit was already shot anyway with the foreclosure. because they were already behind. So it doesn't change much in their situation. And just so you guys know, when a seller files bankruptcy, it has to be dismissed, discharged at the close of escrow. We cannot close with an open bankruptcy. FYI. So when you close it has to be dismissed anyway. But typically why sellers do that is to buy time, because you need time, obviously, to do the title search. You need time, obviously, to be able to get the funds together to close on the deal. So the bankruptcy kind of like give them the time, and then even for them, right? Time to find a new place to move to, right? So that's the reason why we do it, especially the Chapter 13 that sellers file a lot with their own attorneys. So they do that to buy time, but it needs to be charged at the close of escrow in order for you to be able to close, which the closing attorney, all of them know how to discharge a bankruptcy. So that's the reason why, Mr. Mark, all right? Sellers do it because they don't want to deal with the property. They want to move in.
Yeah. And a lot of these bankruptcy where people filed, it's not like them go all the way with the bankruptcy. It's just like a Mamadou said, if you're 30 days stay. So you might have sell the property subject to, or you even sell it as a cash purchase, but you need a little bit more time for run title. So people typical, and they will work with them also to remove the bankruptcy from off of them credit. So there's a lot of stuff that we even do after.
Yeah.
Purchase of the home.
I was gonna piggyback on that. Like, man, you're actually building that credit when you take it over. So that's not something I would focus on. Like, you're actually building that credit. So
yeah, because you're making, there's nothing better than having a mortgage on your credit, performing mortgage. Right. So if they sell it to a legit investor that is making these payments on time, they're getting the credit for it. So over time, within the first year or two, their credit is fixed by selling it subject to. So that's the reason why. Now, one thing, guys, this is the last thing probably I'm going to touch on, and then you guys can tell them any last word you have for them. One thing that I see with newbies, thank you, Mark. Those were great questions, bro. One thing that I noticed with newbies is the struggle you guys are having is that you don't look at, so let's say you're doing pre-foreclosures. You don't look at this as a professional. You don't see it, you don't treat this as a business. Number one, wholesaling, it's a legit business. You have to look at it as a business. That's number one. Number two, it is a full-time business. It's not something you do from 9 to 5 and then over you can go watch Netflix. No, the work starts actually after 7 p.m. after you're done with your calls. That's where the work starts. That's where you go start researching. Okay, in your local area or the area where you market into, what are the multiple different strategies that exist to stop an auction for a seller? What are the different third parties that help homeowners with maybe like grants or whatever the case may be, right? You want to like immerse yourself into this. You want to live it, breathe it, eat it. Like you want to become, if you're going to market pre-foreclosures, you have to be obsessed with this stuff. And that's the reason why our logo is actually BOOM. It stands for bold and then obsessed, optimistic, and obviously the mindset is abundance. That's what the BOOM stands for. So with that being said, guys, you read a book on it, something, right? And the second thing is that newbies don't do is practice. Y'all don't practice talking to the sellers. You need to find ways, okay? You need to find your own group. If you're not part of the mentorship, you need to find your own role-playing group. The same way Will Smith or whoever, another actor maybe that is, like the same way Will Smith practice or Denzel Washington, that's my guy, right? Practice his scripts before he hits the scene and starts shooting. Is the same way. If you want to be able to be good at talking to the sellers, you have to take it serious and practice every single day. And we do that through role playing. So on our team, for example, we do it every single morning. So somebody is the buyer, the other one is the seller, and then we flip the roles, and then we do underwriting, and then we do Q&A, whatever the case may be. Find yourself role-playing buddies if you're not part of a mentorship. You can go on any Facebook, free Facebook wholesaling group. Let's say you live in St. Louis. Just go on Facebook and type wholesaling real estate St. Louis. You're going to have like 10,000 of them pop up, literally. And choose the one that have the most active users. Go there and just post. Hey, who's new that is trying to get their first deal and looking to practice talking to pre-foreclosure sellers? I'm local in St. Louis, or I market to St. Louis. I'm looking for role-play buddies. This is literally when I used to be a solopreneur. That's literally how I did it, and I started practicing. You gotta practice the craft every single day. And then when you practice it, let's say you do it in the morning, then you go and implement what you just practiced. That's how it works. If you were to play football, you're gonna have to show up at practice. There's no such thing as just showing up at the Super Bowl and thinking you're gonna hit it without practice. Anyway, that's the last word for me, guys. Take it serious. This is legit business. Do not tiptoe it. If not, and by the way, if it doesn't happen in your mind, it's not gonna happen physically. So make sure you change your mindset. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom.
One
Yeah.
last word.
Boom. No, go follow me on Andrew Powell, Andrew Powell _ investor. Follow the podcast Foreclosure Duo. And yeah, go subscribe to the YouTube channel also. Facebook, Instagram, DM me, whatever you want to do. I'm here.
Let's go. Mr. Steve.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at _ Stephen Blow. And then for most of my people that have been doing it a long time, man, y'all get y'all some conviction. A lot of times y'all doing the wholesale thing, y'all just taking action every day. Y'all reading the books, y'all going to every single live, y'all studying every video y'all can with Brent Daniels and TTP and everything. Like, get some conviction, actually put some emotion behind what you're doing. A lot of y'all are not doing that. Like, y'all just taking action, but y'all don't have like no set, type of emotion behind what y'all doing. Like, y'all not really living, breathing, and eating it like Mamadou was saying earlier. So that's my biggest thing for the older wholesalers that still doing it and can't get their first deal after 6 months. So
there you go, guys. Focus. I would say 99.9% of the time, focus on your mindset, because everybody, their problem is the mindset. It's not the real estate. The real estate is easy. It's the mindset. All right. Now these concepts again might be a little bit esoteric for most people, but that's fine. That is fine. Let me see. One last question here. This is a really good one. I like it. Mr. Mark, good questions, bro. Love it. If you want to pay the arrears instead of flipping, do you use business lines of credit? If so, which ones? So, Mark, if you are the actual buyer buying it yourself, you can use lines of credit if you have access to it. That's fine. But typically for us, we use private money. Now, lines of credit are great if you have access to it and it's good rates. It depends, what you want to use. But if you have access to private money as well, build your network when it comes to private money. There's so many people that have money but cannot find deals. They'll be more than happy to lend you at 8, 10%, 12%, whatever, for you to buy these deals. And I think there is a big company that is thinking about starting to lend second position on creative finance deals, but they're about to do a Zoom next week or so. So we're going to talk about it once we attend that Zoom and make sure it's legit. And then we're going to come here and talk about it, because that would be a game changer, because they have about 2 or 3 billion to lend. It's like a big company. As you guys know, most actual lenders, like hard money lenders or banks, will not lend you on a creative finance deal. Why? Because they don't like to be in second position. If you buy the subject to deal, that means there's already an existing debt that you're taking over, obviously. And so if anybody lends you money, they're going to have to be in second position. All that means is if you ever stop paying and, there's a foreclosure, they get paid second. That's all second position means, guys. Third position, same thing. So pure logic, okay? First position is in first position. They get paid first. Second position, get paid second. Third position, get paid third. Banks, big banks will not do that for you. They want to always be on first position to protect themselves. That's normal. The great thing is they have money to lend you for everything, right? So this bank right here, if they end up doing this, this it seems like it's a big, whatever, hard money, whatever. So they're gonna lend second position. This would be a game.
Oh man,
Mr. Steve, how do you find hedge funds?
The biggest thing. Yes, I'm gonna give you a gem. If you want to go find hedge funds, the biggest thing you want to do is you want to go search recent sales in the area, and typically these companies buy out like 5,000 to 10,000 houses every year. So we use PropStream to actually look for that type of data. But I would literally go in PropStream. There's a filter that lets you see place in how many properties a buyer actually bought. So you can go there, and if they own over 10,000 properties, I would pretty much say they're a hedge fund. What you then do is you'll just go on LinkedIn and you'll just try to find an acquisitions manager that actually work for that hedge fund company. Once you get in touch with them, most of the time you can get your foot in the door. But I'm going to tell you, like, if you talk to the people, you got to be very professional. It's not like talking to an individual cash buyer. Like, you really have to, you got to put on your best face if you're going to talk to these people. But yeah, that's the best.
Boom. That was a boom drop right there, guys. That was a bomb. He just gave you a whole freaking nugget to leverage LinkedIn to get hedge funds. All right, guys. Let me see. That was it, right? So, boom. Thank you, guys. Really appreciated all the questions. Make sure you find us all on social media, obviously. Me at Real Estate Diallo on Instagram. Mr. Steve already gave it. Andrew already gave it. Stay tuned every single Friday. Guys, please share this live if you're getting any value out of it. Obviously, share it with the people that could, so more people can attend to it. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not, if you're watching Instagram on any of the source. And remember, every single Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be live. Every single Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start bringing guests as well. So we're gonna bring like lenders, like hard money lenders, to talk about lending. We're gonna bring some private lenders. We're gonna bring other people that are successful, maybe doing their own niche within the real estate space. We're gonna bring guests that are gonna talk about multifamily. We're gonna bring some cash buyers here to talk to you guys about how to deal with cash buyers, like actual legit cash buyers, and all that fun stuff. All right, guys, stay tuned, and we'll see you guid in the next one. Appreciated all the questions. Yes, and until next time, stay bold and be bold. Boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.